In May 1943, the Axis powers suffered a devastating defeat in North Africa. This turning point made one thing unmistakably clear for the Allies, especially the United Kingdom and the United States. The war could be won. Italy, described by Winston Churchill as the soft underbelly of the Axis, became the next target. An invasion was launched, and by September 1943, Italy's surrender began to shift the balance of the war. But the Allies were not satisfied. A far more critical plan was already in motion. Under the Manhattan Project, a special unit was formed to track and seize Germany's nuclear research. A team composed of military forces, scientists, and intelligence operatives. Its name was the Alsos mission. The operation had two primary objectives. First, to seize Germany's scientific research centers. Second, to take control of all knowledge and the scientists themselves who could contribute to the development of an atomic bomb. With this goal in mind, critical facilities across Germany were captured one by one. Nuclear research was uncovered and key scientists were detained. Among them were Max von Laue, Otto Hahn, and Carl Friedrich von Weizsäcker. But one question echoed in everyone's mind. Where was Werner Heisenberg? The United States had high expectations for the Alsos mission. Their goal was to uncover and, if possible, completely seize Germany's atomic bomb program. But what they encountered on the ground fell far short of those expectations. There was no comprehensive, organized nuclear weapons program, no massive facilities, no clear roadmap leading to a bomb. There were scientific efforts, but they were scattered, limited, and largely theoretical. So how did this story come to this point? Remember, we covered this in the previous episode. Werner Heisenberg had a choice. He could have stayed in the United States, living a safe and comfortable life. But instead, he chose to return to Germany. In 1939, he stood at the edge of a decision that could alter the course of human history. Because if anyone possessed the knowledge and capability to build an atomic bomb, it was Heisenberg. There was no comprehensive, organized nuclear weapons program, no massive facilities, no clear roadmap leading to a bomb. There were scientific efforts, but they were scattered, limited, and largely theoretical. So, how did this story come to this point? Remember, we covered this in the previous episode. Werner Heisenberg had a choice. He could have stayed in the United States, living a safe and comfortable life. But instead, he chose to return to Germany. In 1939, he stood at the edge of a decision that could alter the course of human history. Because if anyone possessed the knowledge and capability to build an atomic bomb, it was Heisenberg. He was a Jewish physicist who had fled Nazi Germany, seeking refuge in England. There, he was working alongside another prominent physicist, Otto Frisch. In 1940, the calculations they carried out in a modest laboratory left them shaken. For a moment, they simply looked at each other in silence, because what they had discovered overturned everything that had been assumed until then. Contrary to popular belief, building an atomic bomb did not require tons of uranium. Just a few kilograms of uranium-235 could release enough energy to destroy an entire city. This finding changed the rules of the game entirely. The atomic bomb was no longer an impossible idea. On the contrary, it was terrifyingly possible. And one question came to mind. If we were able to calculate this, then Werner Heisenberg must have already done so. But the reality was very different. Werner Heisenberg had already realized this possibility while working on a nuclear reactor in Leipzig. However, he was mistaken at a critical point. He still believed that a chain reaction would require massive amounts of uranium. This miscalculation was not just a scientific error, its consequences would be historical. Because, if that threshold had been calculated correctly, Nazi Germany's nuclear program might have taken a very different path. And this mistake would change the course of history. In 1941, Werner Heisenberg shared this issue with his colleague Carl Friedrich von Weizsäcker. Together, they decided to meet their mentor, Niels Bohr. Bohr was in Copenhagen, a city under Nazi occupation. Heisenberg met Bohr during an evening walk. That conversation is considered one of the most controversial moments in the history of science. What was Werner Heisenberg's true intention? According to some accounts, he wanted all physicists to reach an agreement that no one should develop an atomic bomb, at least until the war was over. But a letter that surfaced years later changed this story entirely. According to a letter by Niels Bohr, Heisenberg had come with a very different intention. He allegedly suggested that Bohr accept Germany's dominance, collaborate with the Nazis, and support the development of an atomic bomb. So which version is true? Even today, we don't know for certain. But there is one thing we do know. Heisenberg did not build the atomic bomb. But was it because he didn't want to, or because he couldn't? The report he presented to Nazi officials in 1941 reveals the truth. His calculations were wrong. He had miscalculated the amount of uranium required. And more importantly, Adolf Hitler did not give this project enough importance. He considered physics to be Jewish science. As a result, the program never received serious support. In the end, the Alsos mission captured Heisenberg and other scientists. They were detained for a period of time, and every conversation they had was secretly recorded. And then, the news arrived. Atomic bombs had been dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Do you know how Werner Heisenberg reacted? He said it was impossible. No one could achieve this in such a short time, he insisted. Which means he still didn't fully understand the solution. But someone else did, and they succeeded. Heisenberg's story is full of contradictions. He was a genius. The uncertainty principle is one of the most important discoveries in the history of science. But how should we remember him? Was he a patriotic German, or a scientist who made a critical mistake at the worst possible moment? If he had succeeded, if he had given the atomic bomb to Adolf Hitler, what would we be talking about today? Questions, always questions. But there is one truth. We expect perfection from a genius. Yet, he was human. And this story does not end here, because someone actually built the atomic bomb, and the world was never the same again. Until we meet again. I'm glad you're here. With love.